Jordan Martzoff from Slippery Rock. He's a freshman here at Geneva College, Civil Engineering. Boy, must make him smart in Slippery Rock. I know one thing, you could find a Sheetz convenience store there, and I got a little message to my good friend Steve, along with Stan and Lou and Joe Jr. You know, this past week, I have been at the Franklin Park location, absolutely incredible. Mount Nebo, both locations. Calcutta, Ohio last night. And this evening on a rainy, chilly night in western Pennsylvania, College Hill, Beaver Falls. You know, it reminds me a lot of when I was a kid, many years ago, the steamed windows and a pot of sauce, and my mother and the 5 sisters of the Pratte family just kind of gathering around for the table. And you know, great dinner. And this is what I think about when I think of Sheetz. Tick, tock, tick. The clock is ticking, but one thing's for sure, they take care of people like me that are on the go with great MTO food. So thank you to my friends, the Sheetz family. I love what you have done with their wonderful location here in Beaver Falls on College Hill. And I know a lot of these great college students stop there for dinner. And this old guy with a gray beard, yes, I stopped there too. Thank you, Steve. Much love from your Pratte Pack. Now, I got a lot of love for this guy because he's all about love, life-giving and life-changing. We're talking about the New Brighton Christian Assembly Church, their pastor, their minister, the brother of Mr. DeMarco. This is Sam, and of course, the other brother and the sister and the mother and father, his father, a preacher. Just an incredible story. And I want to talk about what's happening in this timeline, this world we live in. But tell me about your incredible church. And I'm so proud of you, and I hear just nothing but good things.
Well, Rob, thank you for your kind words. And what can I say about the church that I'm privileged to pastor? It's filled with incredible people, young and old alike. I'm pastoring my home church. Grew up in New Brighton, as you know.
Right.
But it's filled with incredible people. People who love their God, people who love their family, people who love their church family, people who love their community. And what I really appreciate is if you come to MBCA, to Christian Assembly, you're going to see different skin colors, you're going to see different ages, you're going to see family, singles, young and old. It's an incredible place to pastor.
Look, many times, and I mentioned this gentleman's name to you, who I absolutely revere, respect, Steve Wohlberg, White Horse Media. Please check out his website, his Facebook page. He's on Twitter. He was one of the first to spend many nights with me on the radio when I was working a lot of hours, and then at midnight would go on the air until 5 a.m. And when we would reach most of the country, and KDK, of course, the pioneer broadcasting station of America, he was just such a refreshing person to me because he opened my eyes and ears up to the gospel and what it was and how it was all about, no matter the color of your skin, it's all about the content of your character and trying to make you into a better person, beginning with your soul. And through that, I have been very fortunate to meet many people who practice religion and preach religion, and I have respect for so many of them. But you at this grassroots level more than ever, because as your brother and I had said, you could have built this into a mega church, but you really wanted to stay with the foundation that was built by your father many years ago. You've evolved, you've grown, the numbers have grown, and yes, you've remodeled a few times, but you continue to remodel souls, and that's what I love about you. And right now, not just in Beaver County, but throughout the country, we have a lot of lost souls because of the opioid epidemic, drugs, crime, broken families. There's so much, this generation of hopelessness, as I call it. So your work really is a lot of heavy lifting right now.
Well, let me just clarify something. You know, I appreciate once again the kind words, the compliment about, well, I could have built this. I'm not building anything. The Bible tells us we plant some water, but God causes things to grow. So, but we do want to see the Church of Jesus Christ grow. It is a living organism. Mm-hmm. It's not something that is stagnant. And what we grow from within first. And so when we say life-giving, life-changing, we truly believe when Jesus spoke, his words are life. So when he said the thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I've come to give you life and life to the full, we take that to heart. That's what God's will is. He wants us to discover life in him. And so life-giving means when we discover the life that Christ has, we can't help but give it out to others. And so you'll find that within our church, like many other churches who really hold on to the gospel, is that they fellowship within the love of Christ, and they offer the love of Christ in their everyday life. We like to think of it this way: worship is in our living, our singing, and our giving.
Mm-hmm. You know, I do want to talk about what I call, it went from the middle class to the working class to the working poor. There are people that are really trying to do the right thing, but because of really not being able to find the income, they're struggling, so they're searching. And a lot of times the core values that you and I grew up with and were blessed to have, the family values, have since broken. So talk to me a little bit about what you're doing and what's your message to your church members as far as what you're trying to accomplish.
I'm taking the message of the gospel and what Jesus gave us, and we're giving it to each other, and I'm instilling it in their hearts to own with the love of God opportunities that God brings you. Let me give you an example. Our church has, as I mentioned, different faces. So you have different colored skin. I love that.
It's a melting pot.
It's a melting pot. I love the different classes. We have people who come from families that are intact, and we have people that have broken families, and we have those who have no family. And what I love is when I see somebody in their 60s having a heart towards somebody who's in their 20s, come alongside of them, and here comes another guy who's in his 50s, and he comes and helps this 20-year-old, and then another one in his 40s, right, and he helps. And we have layers of somebody helping to find a job, teach him how to be a man, teach him how to be a husband, a father. And this young man today who I'm referring to, he's one of our vibrant members. You'll find him serving in various areas. But it started because several men are living out the love of God. So that's what is happening at our church.
All right, full circle. Is it possible for people to actually go full circle and begin again?
I would hope so, because that's the message we are promoting, and that's the message that we are experiencing. That's why Jesus came. Think about this. This world is broken. This world is hurting. It's in a mess. But the Bible has told us that, so that shouldn't be a surprise when we read. It says we've all fallen and fallen short. We can't get to the fullness of God. That's why God sent Christ.
Let's end on a very positive note. It's this school, your brother, faith, family, and what they're all about. No one, in my opinion, in this region does it as good, if not better, than Geneva College.
Yes. Well, I'm an alumni from Geneva, so I walked these halls. I commuted, so I carried the bag, you know, with the books and the change of clothes. So I love what Geneva stands for regarding the Christian emphasis. Let me just say something regarding my brother Gino. I mean, he's hitting some rough times right now. But I have had a chance to see him behind the scene, before the game, after the game, in the locker room, at home. Here's a man who really has a heart to reach young men through football and show them the love of Christ and teach them the character of Christ. And I think his legacy of what has been accomplished down through the many years of young men who have come through Geneva football speaks for itself. Now, he wants to win, and
he will.
We are believing for a turnaround, and there isn't anybody that works harder than my brother.
So I showed up here tonight and enjoyed a little MTO food in the car, my warm coffee, and who was out amongst the raindrops and the masses? The coach, Gino DeMarco, doing what he does best. And he joins us next to talk about that. God bless. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Rob, for the opportunity.
See, folks, the Geneva education really does pay off. We'll be right back. Stick with us.